In this Map Suite MVC Edition sample app walkthrough, we're going to show you how to get the envelope of a feature. If you're not familiar with the term envelope, think of it more or the same way as like a bounding box of a feature. And that can be useful if, say, you want to have your user click on something and you want to zoom in to that feature only. So that's one of many uses where you may want to get the envelope or bounding box of a feature. So let's take a look at this sample. As you can see, we've just got a basic map here using the World Map Kit background. And then we've got actually another shapefile laid on top of the World Map Kit with the country outlines just kind of here in green. And if I go ahead and click, say, on Brazil, you'll see now I've added a new feature that represents the envelope of Brazil. And it's basically a rectangle shape that fully encompasses all of Brazil. So if you look, if I click over here on Madagascar, it'll be a rectangle shape that works that way. Or even one here with South Africa. There's an island that's out here in the ocean. It goes to encompass all of that. So again, that can be useful if you want to zoom into a specific country and or just get those coordinates for setting your extent or to do other operations. So let's take a look at the code to see how you'd implement this inside of your application. Let's start with the view source code. And we've got a little JavaScript here, a little description about the sample, and then down here is where we're setting up the map when the application is loaded. So this is just setting up the map with the World Map Kit overlay and zooming it in to this extent and setting all of that up. And then here's where we're adding the shapefile feature layer that contains the country borders, and we're just giving a transparent fill with a green outline and applying that to all zoom levels. And then here we're setting up an in-memory feature layer that's going to contain our bounding box once we find that, and giving it and rendering it on the map with these colors and applying it to the zoom level. So here we're just doing some setup. So when the application is loaded, we've got the World Map Kit, we've got the shapefile with the country boundaries laid on top of it, and then we've got an in-memory feature layer set up for once we find the bounding box of a feature. We add those overlays to the map. In those layers, and then here we've got we're setting up the on-client click, so when the user clicks on the map, we're going to call the map click function, which is a JavaScript function, and then finally we're rendering the map out to the page. So what happens next is the user will click the map, and assuming they click on the map, this JavaScript function here will be called. And we're actually going to do an AJAX callback through the AJAX call action method off of the map and tell it what controller and that we want to use the click on feature method up on the server. And we're also going to pass in some arguments to that method representing the longitude and latitude of where the user clicked on the map. And then we want to tell the client once we're done to call this map callback. And since we're here, I'll just show you that. That's just going to redraw the bounding box overlay, so we can show the new bounding box feature if we've added any to that bounding box overlay. So let's go look at the server and check out this click on feature method, because that's where most of the work is being done. I'm going to do that on the controller source here, and as you'll see, we've got click on feature. The first thing we do is just create a point shape based upon the arguments passed in. So if you remember, that was the X and Y where the user clicked. And then we're going to get a reference to our shapefile layer that contains the country boundaries. So we're getting a reference to that overlay and that layer within it. And then we're also getting a reference to the bounding box layer, which is the in-memory feature layer that we have. And we're going to clear out any features on that. So we want to completely reset it. So if the user clicks another country, we want to blank that out and just show the one that they have most recently clicked. If you wanted to show all the ones they've clicked, you would comment out this line of code, and each one they click would keep adding more features to the map or bounding boxes for those countries. Alright, next we need to find out, well, what country did the user actually click on? And to do that, we're going to do a spatial query on the country shapefile. So we need to open that up, and then underneath the query tools, we're going to get features containing. So that's going to find the country that is containing the point that the user clicked at. And in this case, we're not returning any, or I guess we're returning one column value, which I'm assuming is going to represent, I don't know, we're actually not returning, we're returning one there. But this is where you would define the column values that you want to return from that feature. In this sample, we're just getting the envelope, so we aren't actually returning anything there. I typically just return all columns so you have the data if you need it. If not, it's no biggie. Then we close the layer, and then down here we check to make sure we did in fact find a country that was clicked on. So if they clicked out in the ocean somewhere, nothing's going to be returned there, and nothing will be displayed on the map. And then we go ahead and get the area base shape out of the feature that was returned using the get shape method. So this is going to tell us, oh, we're working with an area shape. So that will allow us to do certain methods that are only available to area shapes. In this case, with envelopes, you can get that on virtually anything, a line or an area. A point doesn't actually have any area, so it'd be more of lines and areas from that side of things. And then down here, we're going to go ahead and add the bounding box or the envelope of that feature to our bounding box layer. And the way we're just going to do that is by calling AreaShape.getBoundingBox. So that's going to return that envelope, or also known as the bounding box. And that's we're going to create a new feature of that, add that to the bounding box layer, and then tell the map to redraw that overlay. So that results in this sample here where you click on it, and it finds the bounding box of the feature that was clicked on and redraws that overlay accordingly. And as you see, if I click on another country, it cleared that out and put the latest country's envelope or bounding box on the map. So I hope this sample walkthrough has been helpful. Please feel free to contact us if you have any questions, or you can post them directly on our discussion forum at thinkgeo.com/forums. Thank you for watching.